The Huawei Mate X Ultimate, the world's first triple foldable smartphone, is here, and everyone will get to see it along with Aum, who is the first in Thailand to do so. Today, we will unbox it together. Aum's feelings right now are beyond words. It has to be experienced. We have seen the form factor of smartphones evolve over the past 10 years, and there have been changes through different eras. This device is something everyone is already aware of, and Aum is excited about how much it can be reserved. This feels like fulfilling a certain passion and clearly shows that technology never dies and never stops. So let's get to the unboxing. Once we have the device, don't forget to get the anti-monster bubble X glass film, which comes in both standard and protective versions that reduce glare excellently. It comes with easy installation and a lifetime warranty. Also, don't miss out on the camera glass that enhances photo quality because the glass is GIA certified and reduces glare as well. Order both items together and get the MagSafe tip too. All right, everyone, let's go. Let's start together. Come on, let's pull it out. 1, 2, let's take the label off. I have to say I'm really excited because, you know, this is probably the most expensive phone I've ever bought. If anyone asks how much it is, I'll tell you that this one costs around 100,000 to 200,000 baht. Let's take a look at the box, which has 2 layers. The outer layer says it's the Mate F, and the design box is red like this. Many people say it looks like a red envelope, right? Once I finish, I'll pull out the red envelope and it will be a black box like this. I haven't watched anyone else's review yet because I want to have my own feeling about it. All right, let's open it. Wow, this is really giving me goosebumps. Hey, wait a second. Let me just say, hold on a moment. I want to take a quick look inside. If there are a lot of items, I might skip some parts. Let's check this out first. Oh, but it doesn't seem like there are too many items, right? Okay, so in the frame, they included the headphones as well. Can I unbox it? Let's see how the headphones look. Okay, they are the in-ear type. Let's open it up. Here it is. There's a card included with this one, and it comes in the box as well. Also, there's a car adapter included, 88 watts, so this should be the charging equipment. All right, this is the charging equipment, which includes an adapter and 2 charging cables. That's nice. 2 charging cables are included. This is the equipment in the box, and there's also another small box for the SIM ejector tool right here. So, what's inside? Is it stressful? It seems to be a case. Let me just smooth it out and take a look. Oh, it's a thin case. Okay, it's a thin case. Well, let's put it on in a bit. First, let's check out the device itself. Let's look at the waves first. What I exclaimed earlier is that it feels very thin. And not only that, the weight, I initially thought it would be heavier. All right, everyone, let's check it out together. Ready? 1, 2, go. Whether it's good for speed or good for ringing, saying it like this doesn't mean it's light, especially when compared to the V3. Although it isn't light, it feels thin and very large, which is nice because of the big screen. So, Aum will turn on the device a bit and show everyone how the first folding feels. Let's open the folding ceremony for the first time and see how it feels. For the folding, the normal shape is to fold it in from the right, like this, and then we will fold it out to the left. It's thrilling. Now it has become a regular smartphone. Oh, when it folds together, we start to feel that the weight might be a bit heavy, but let's compare it to something else. Let's look at the iPhone first. This is the top iPhone compared to this, which is the triple fold Huawei Mate X Ultimate. Now let's compare it to the Oppo Find N3. Wow, they are very similar. The thickness is quite close to the Oppo, but the weight is still heavier. Let me show you how to unfold this. If we do it like this, it will turn into a regular foldable phone with 2 folds, and then we can unfold it to create 1 more fold. Oh, I see. I understand the feeling, and okay, Let me update the software and try it out a bit, then we can talk. So let's get to know this device together. I have to say that this one comes with only one screen, but it uses various methods that allow for diverse functionalities. First, this is the standard smartphone shape we usually use, right? This one has a screen size of 6.4 inches. When unfolded, it expands to 7.9 inches. And finally, we can fold it out to a full screen like this, which will be 10.2 inches. Oh, that's a big size, comparable to a tablet. Actually, it's just like a tablet that we use. This device comes with a slightly unusual aspect ratio of 16:11, but after using it, I found that it's a suitable ratio for gaming and watching media. This time, what they have is a tri-foldable LTPO OLED display that can display 1 billion colors. However, I must tell everyone that the refresh rate of this screen is only 90 Hertz. Because it is the same screen, whether we call it an external screen, internal screen, or a large screen, it will all be at 90 Hertz. Therefore, for those who play games, especially with fast-paced action, we usually use 120 Hertz, so we might feel a difference on a 90 Hertz screen. This is a trade-off for the larger screen size. Now, behind the impressive features is Huawei's expertise in both inward and outward folding. Inward folding means folding in like this, and outward folding means folding out like this. Huawei has done both types before, so they are very skilled at it. Let me show you one fold at a time, starting with the regular fold. This one comes with a thickness like this. Let me open it a bit for you. It is quite thin and can be adjusted at every angle, and it holds well like this. So whether you want to lift it up like this or set it up like this, you can see, right? The angles for usage are very diverse. This is for folding inward, while folding outward has been done since the early days. Therefore, what they excel at is that when everything comes together, it looks slim and beautiful like this. We can use it. The capabilities of the foldable design in usage are impressive, whether it's for the camera or selfies. Another thing to show is that since they are good at making foldable designs, they also excel at creating the fold lines. This one is very shallow, both for inward and outward folds. You can see that when you swipe your finger. It looks like, hey, is it deep? But in reality, it's very slim. And regarding the straightness, let's look at both the slimness and the straightness. Many brands, when they make foldable designs, end up with a slight curve or may not fold completely. However, Huawei, even with this trifold design, achieves a very straight and slim profile. The thinnest point when fully opened is only 3.6 meter, incredibly slim. Now I will weigh it and compare it with a friend's device for a little reference. Let's start with the iPhone 16 Pro Max first. This one weighs the weight is about 220 grams for the Magic V3, which is expected to arrive in Thailand soon, and approximately 235 grams for the C46. The C46 weighs 242.9 grams, while the Oppo YN3 is currently the heaviest among these at around 250 grams. Finally, the Mate X weighs about 310 grams. When asking if it's heavy compared to foldable phones on the market right now, whether it's the C46 or the Magic V3, I won't count the Oppo since it's considered heavy. Compared to these two, it has a manageable weight. However, if you compare it to a 10-inch tablet, you might find that it's not heavy at all. The Activity weighs about 300 grams, and the feeling is different. If we consider it as a smartphone, it feels heavy. But if we hold it with two hands, it is comparable to tablets like the iPad, which weighs around 500 grams. Therefore, this device has a good weight for a tablet. I believe it can still improve in terms of weight or thickness as a smartphone. I want to show you a comparison with 3 other foldable smartphones that I currently use: the C4, V3, and the File N3. Each of these 4 devices has its own advantages and unique features based on usage. Starting with the C4, when compared, the front screen of the Mate is significantly larger, but the Mate is actually thicker than the C4 by a little bit. However, the weight is considerably heavier. If we look at the back, the C4 has the advantage of feeling luxurious when carried around, which I like. Many people have asked if it feels heavy, but I think the weight has improved a lot. Now, let's move on to the File N3. This is the end of the cycle for this year, as there haven't been any new releases yet. The width of the front screen is quite similar, although it might be slightly narrower because it feels a bit thicker. Overall, the sizes are comparable, though it might be a bit shorter. The thickness of these devices is also very similar. This is the comparison between the 2 and 3. The thickness is very close. Looking at the back, this is how it compares to the Find N3. The Find N3 still excels in terms of camera performance. Among the foldable screens available now, this one is the lightest and is set to enter the Thai market. The front is very similar, but when we look at the thickness, it becomes clear that this one is as thin as the 2-fold of the Mate X2. If there were no third fold, they would be quite comparable. For those who prefer lightweight and thin devices, they might still prefer the Magic V3, and looking at the camera, it seems similar as well. Anyone who says they are not related is probably mistaken, as there are many technologies that have been incorporated. Let's use it, shall we? So this is an idea for a 3-fold compared to a 2-fold. I'll open the inside for you to see as well, and then compare it with the Magic 3. Okay, when we unfold it, the largest screen is this one. Compared to the 2-fold, it will be about this size. The screen area will differ by this much. And if we fold it up, the leftmost screen goes inside, and it will be equivalent like this. The left side will be very similar. And the cool thing is that since this device has 2 separate screens, you will see very little bezel. If you notice the black area, it was designed to give us the same feeling as the screen edge. But in reality, this is the screen. This is what I want to talk about. On the right side here, this is the actual screen edge, which is the real edge of the device, while this is the screen edge that we will have to touch all the time. You see, it will be like this. It's okay because we normally use our phones like this, but regarding the screen edge, is it sturdy? I have to say it is quite sturdy, but it could be anything or something could hit it. Of course, it is a full screen, and this is one thing that I am still concerned about. On another note, Huawei mentioned that there's no need to worry, as they provide a very thin, lightweight, and interesting case. Let me show you how it looks when the case is on. When you put the case on, it will look like this. And the part that is open can be closed during use to protect the screen area. There are buttons here that can still be pressed as usual. When we want to use it, we just need to push this part out a little bit. Once we push it out, we can open the screen. You can use it in a dual fold mode or in a trifold mode like this. Just a note, when we open it for use, we should hold both folds and the back part together. Otherwise, it might be a bit difficult to open. Some people have also asked how the opening feeling compares to the dual fold version. The dual fold opens quite smoothly, right? This one, when opened, is a bit different. The first thing might take a little thought, but once you open and close it frequently, you'll start to get used to it. You'll become more familiar with it, which is definitely okay. Now let's take a look at how big the screen is and whether it offers any advantages over a larger screen. Let's explore what we can do with a 10.2-inch screen. For this video, we might be looking at graphs, series, and maybe TikTok. Let's check them out one by one. First, let me show you a simple graph. The graph's background is quite long, and you can sit and work right here. Compared to a regular dual-screen foldable device, I should mention that the functionality of controlling apps on the Huawei isn't quite on par with Samsung, Honor, or Oppo. The multi-functionality of the Huawei still doesn't match up to its competitors. With such a large screen, it should be able to do a lot more. But there are some conditions that I'll explain later. However, it's definitely more fun with a bigger screen. Look at the size comparison. It's a whole different scale. And here's the screen size we usually use, right? This is Netflix when we open it. If I expand it, you'll see that the side borders are trimmed just a little, and you get a full screen experience. Wow, this is something really impressive. The colors are quite soft and beautiful. and I think many people would really like it for watching various content or TikTok. I want to show the length of this device. Let me switch to portrait mode for you to see. Comparing it, the space at the bottom of the main display is much larger. When we watch content, it looks this big. On the side of the phone that we normally use, it can split the screen in half to make the most of it. Now the cool thing is that when we watch content in landscape mode, if we want to use two screens, we can just fold it up, and the software will adjust it for us. Then we can use just the front screen like a regular phone, and everything is very smooth. Let me show you again. When it opens up, it adjusts to this screen format, or if we open it like this, it expands for us. Everything is quite smooth. This is the advantage of having worked on it for a long time, so they have made it really well. Next, I think they just need to improve the multi-tracking feature, but for now, if you ask if it can multitask, it can multitask quite well. You can slide your finger out here, and if you want to split the screen, you can take the browser and tap to split it left and right like this. You can also switch it left and right, but if you want it to be top and bottom, you just adjust the screen to a vertical orientation like this, and it will change to top and bottom. Alternatively, you can pull this bar out and open any app like Huawei Health, and you can switch it in. Let me try to show you again. I'm not sure if it can really do that. You can also open two screens at the back and open two applications on the front. These apps will be divided by which level can be used. Since this is a Chinese ROM, most of the apps that can be opened are mostly from the Chinese side. Now there are two more things everyone should know. This device can use a Thai SIM card. I use AIS, and the speed is about this, which definitely won't reach 5G. Also, for those who have already bought the device and the internet isn't working, I've used many Chinese devices, and usually when you insert a SIM card, you can use the internet right away. This one also comes with the necessary APN settings, but it doesn't work. Let me teach you how to set it up. Go to Settings, then Mobile Network, tap on Mobile Data, and then go to APN. I'll go quickly, and you can slow down yourself. Tap on the eye icon here. What you need to do is scroll to find the word bearer here. To set it up, go to the ARM perspective settings, select LTE, then click OK and check this box. After that, you will be able to use the internet immediately. It took us a while to get it working, but one thing to note is that it won't show LTE or 4G. It will only display this. However, VoLTE works well, so you can use it without issues. Another thing you need to know is about installing applications. Of course, Huawei does not have GMS, Google Mobile Services, so we will install applications through the App Gallery. Just search for what you want and it will install as an APK. You can also look for something called Micro G in the App Gallery or search for it as I have taught you. Once you find Micro G, proceed with the installation. It will require you to enable the Gbox feature and install it in the Keystone section. However, I should mention that some apps may not be able to split the screen. This means that installing through the Huawei App Gallery or directly as an APK might be more convenient. But using Micro G or Gbox will help you access accounts. For example, if you have Google Drive, Google Maps, or YouTube. If you already have an account, it will pull the data for you. This is something to know before making a purchase. Regarding allergies, Huawei has mentioned very little about this, but it is expected to use the Kirin 9100 processor. The test results are quite intense. The single-core score is at 1019, while the multi-core score is at 3541. Compared to peers, it may not be at the flagship level, which is a slight drawback in terms of performance relative to the price. If it were to enter the Thai market, it might be priced close to 100,000 THB. The device comes with a total of 3 batteries, which is quite impressive that Huawei has managed to fit 3 batteries in such a slim design. As for the camera, the main camera features a resolution of 50 megapixels, along with a 12 megapixel ultra-wide lens and a periscope telephoto lens. This is a 12 megapixel camera that can zoom optically up to 5.5 times and has a maximum zoom of 50 times. The front camera is located here and it has a resolution of 8 megapixels. When asked if the camera is good, I would say it performs quite well, especially in terms of color tone and the natural look typical of Huawei. You can still see some wrinkles on our faces, but overall, the results are good. This is an ultra-wide shot, or a different view outdoors, and it performs well. Let me show you how the zoom works. I'll show you some sample images. For me, Huawei's camera is already impressive, and their battery life is definitely long-lasting. I've used it a lot, and the battery has only gone down this much, which is really good. And another thing that I think makes it even more fun is watching content, especially 3D content. Anyone who has been to Shibuya or Shinjuku might have encountered a 3D screen like this one. This device can perform a similar function by using the refraction of the screen. Therefore, when we watch content made for 3D, it feels like it pops out at you, which is different from watching regular content. This is another aspect that I found enjoyable when trying it out. This device comes with 16 GB of RAM and storage options of 256 GB, 512 GB, and 1 TB. As I mentioned, the price is close to 100,000 THB, but if you carry it yourself, it can range from around 100,000 to 200,000 THB. The maximum price for the 1 TB version in red is about 200,000 THB. I didn't mention the battery size, which is 5600 mAh, with fast charging at 66W and wireless charging at 50W or 5W charging. I really like that it can stack 3 layers like this, while still supporting wireless charging, which is something that Huawei has thought out well. This model features a stereo sound system, and the next one will definitely have 4 speakers, because Huawei makes great tablets, so these features shouldn't be missed. Many people see me setting it up like this, right? But I have to say first, just a little note that it's not suitable for actual use for everyone, because when we set it up to type, the weight of the screen needs to be supported by the bottom row like this, which is not how people typically use it. However, if you put a case on it, the case has a cool feature where it can rotate. It can rotate up to 270 degrees, so we can open it up and set the device for more convenient use. We need to pay attention to the angle to ensure it doesn't fall over. This is another accessory that I would like to have. It can be set up like this, and it's fun for today's technology story. If it weren't for the HUAWEI Mate XT Ultimate design, it might not be as enjoyable right now. I admit that those who are into technology might like this one. I'm waiting for the price to drop, because at this price, it's not usable. It might be too expensive. Also, I have back pain because I've been reviewing a lot of phones, and half a day of use gives me back pain because it's over 300 grams. It's about a tablet, right? If someone asks why I don't just buy a smartphone to use alongside the tablet, the answer is simple. There's no tablet that can fit in your pocket like this. This is a story about technology and innovation that changes over time. So now we just have to accept it, whether we like it or not, and consider how to use it. This is a significant step forward for the future, especially for Huawei. How much this will be passed on is something we'll have to wait and see. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And if anyone wants to support, as mentioned earlier, you can check out anti-monster screen protectors for iPhone 16 series, iPhone 15 series, and the N20 Ultra. You can support so that I can keep bringing you these kinds of gadgets to show everyone. That's all for today. See you next time. Goodbye.